Bridezilla demands her family stay at the $1,250 per room, night hotel of her wedding. My sister is getting married. She wants all our family to stay in the same hotel that she is, but the hotel costs over $1,250, which me and my husband cannot justify paying that much for one night, as we have other expenses to pay, i.e. rent, etc. My parents and siblings also cannot justify paying that much, so instead, after discussing with my sister, we booked a rental flat for all of us, which cost less than the price of one hotel room, 5 minutes walk away. All was good. However, now I've been told on the down low that this really upset her, since the groom's side of the family are willing to pay and stay at the hotel. They only need 2 rooms, whereas we would need 4 rooms. Should I have considered her feelings of it being her once-in-a-lifetime wedding and just paid the money? Or AITA for taking this away from her? Do you have a secret little subreddit that is a favorite? Share it in the comments and it could become the next big thing. Am I in the wrong? Is this bride's behavior acceptable? My friend just had to wedding this past weekend. I was the maid of honor, although not the original maid of honor, due to drama with the bride and her best friend a few months ago, and she only had one other bridesmaid due to some drama that unfurled over the year leading up to the wedding. I've tried my best for the past multiple months to step up, be there for the bride, be a good friend, and take whatever stress I can off her shoulders. I've bought her and the groom numerous things and a nice present, as well as treated them to coffee and meals, as I know they've been inundated with wedding bills. I've taken off work and missed prior engagements to be there for her and truly step up as maid of honor. All of this I was happy to do. Day of the wedding, I tried my hardest to do everything and finish last-minute DIY crafts that hadn't been finished. I made numerous trips to and from the venue in full hair and makeup to finish things and make sure the bride was as relaxed as she could be on her wedding day. I was happy to do all of this as she's my friend, and although I haven't had my own wedding, I can only imagine the kind of stress she was under. However, it was difficult considering it was only me and one other bridesmaid carrying on all the duties. Fast forward to the ceremony. She tells me beforehand that if the groom turns around before she's ready, she will leave the ceremony and we will have to do it all over again. So, I felt an intense stress, as I didn't want to mess things up and have a whole scene happen because I told him to turn around too early. I walk down the aisle and in my nerves I stand too far to the side, so I cannot see the bride. I am rather short. Admittedly, I messed up. I should have moved closer to the groom so I could see the bride. I was nervous and so honestly didn't think about where I ended up standing. I moved closer to the groom a little too late, to see the bride make a small gesture with her fingers, signaling to me that she wanted him to turn around. At this point I told him to turn around. I apologized to the groom after the ceremony for the wait and confusion, as he had been looking at me and I was delayed in giving the motion. However, he said it was okay, so we continued to have a great night. I thought that given everything else went wonderfully, I was just being overly anxious about my mistake, and that in the grand scheme of things, it didn't matter too much. For the record, I'm still beating myself up about it. I'm upset that when I made a mistake that day, it was that moment. Fast forward to the morning after the ceremony. The bride, in front of the groom and another member of the party, chewed me out, shouting that I ruined the moment and that it was really effing poopy. She said that it was her wedding day, as if I didn't already know that, and that I really messed up because everyone saw her make the gesture. She proceeded to shout even after I was crying and profusely apologizing. She excused her behavior, saying, "I don't even care that you're crying because it was my moment." Honestly, it was kinda scary. No one else intervened and she hasn't apologized since. She's not even replying to my text. I know she's getting ready for her honeymoon, so I won't be reaching out to give her time to relax with her husband. However, I'm genuinely hurt by how she approached me about it. Since she was hurt about my mistake, I absolutely would want her to let me know. I know I messed up. I'm just hurt by how she communicated her frustration. I had tried my hardest to do everything perfectly, to be there for her and wait on her hand and foot. I'm not sure what more I could have done. Anyway, apologies for the long post. I just wanted to ask if her reaction was totally warranted given my mistake, or if it was kind of too much. Please be honest. I want to be able to find peace with the situation. Thanks, smiley face. Edit. Forgot to mention, but she told me that I should have approached her immediately after the ceremony to apologize. She said it was rude I didn't do so. I told her she was taking photos and was just married, so I didn't think it was good timing, but she still said that this was another mistake on my part. Update on Bridezilla, who blamed me for ruining her wedding ceremony. Hi all. A few weeks ago I published to this subreddit and I received a lot of support. I thank you for that. It's nice to know there are kind people out there, especially when anonymous on the internet. After reading all the responses and speaking with my therapist, I thought it would be best to send the Bridezilla a text. I'm big on closure, and although I was anticipating a nasty response, I knew for my own well-being I needed to air my feelings. I waited until she was back from her honeymoon plus numerous days so that she and her husband could decompress. She quickly replied, and as anticipated, was nasty. She lied numerous times, she did ask me to be MOH, I did apologize numerous times, I did not belittle her in front of her meal, all I did was offer some help to take stuff to the storage locker. I also was not pissy, nor did I sigh at all that day. I've highlighted the super egregious bits if you don't want to read all of it. I responded with a message ending the friendship and a subsequent block on everything. My text to Bridezilla: hey bride's name. I waited to reach out till y'all got back from your honeymoon and had time to decompress. I've been thinking a lot about your wedding weekend. Leading up to your wedding and during that weekend, I've truly stepped up as your friend. I've been there when no one else was. I went out of my way to show up for you and prove to you that you're not alone. Over your wedding weekend, despite my PT's request to relax, and desperately needing to prepare for a job interview, I focused solely on you. I made trips to and from the reception, was the bad guy to the wedding planner. I waited on you hand and foot, bringing you water, food, and even scraping lipstick off your teeth. I was tasked with things that aren't even the MOH's responsibility. I was under an immense amount of pressure from you to make the day perfect. I tried my best. And my best was pretty freaking amazing. The morning after your wedding, a major line was crossed. There's a huge difference between being blunt and being rude, disrespectful. Your outburst toward me was the latter. Not only did you berate me, but you did so in front of her husband and groomsmen. Even after I was sobbing and apologizing for something I shouldn't have had to apologize for, you were relentless. If you were upset about something, I would of course want you to bring it to my attention, but in a respectful way. Under no circumstances, not then on your wedding day or the morning after, is it appropriate for you to speak to me like that. However, you may justify it. I did not deserve that treatment. What I do deserve is a huge apology and an even bigger promise that you won't treat me like that again. If you choose not to reply or reply with anything but an apology, I'll assume you're content with this friendship ending. I meant everything I said in my MOH speech. You are my best friend and I love you. However, I will not allow myself to be belittled and maltreated. Bridezilla doesn't allow her brother to leave the next day of party early. TLDR, family very disappointed in me for leaving post-wedding lunch early, after having done so much leading up to the wedding. My older sister's wedding was last weekend. For context, my parents favor the heck out of her more than me. She can't do anything wrong, they always provide an excuse for her, etc. Fast forward and I quite literally planned her husband's engagement because he doesn't plan anything, took free engagement pictures and have done nothing but listen about this damn wedding for 1.5 years. Wedding day comes and it's just a lot. Went from 8 AM to midnight non-stop with pictures, ceremony, more pictures and the reception. It was a really, really long day. My parents wanted to have a follow-up party at their house the next day. My SO and I were completely drained, but still went of course because it's my sister. After being there about 2.5 hours, we said our goodbyes and went home. Walking out the door, my sister calls me out in front of the remaining people there for leaving early during her wedding weekend. She said I was being a bad brother, etc. Today I get a call from my parents saying they are not mad, just very disappointed in me, and how I made the family look bad for not being there for my sister. Now I feel like my family looks down on me even more, even after how much I feel I've done for my sister and how much money I've put towards the wedding and her gift. Edit. Forgot to mention that no friends were invited to this post-wedding party and almost none of the bridal party came. Edit 2. I took pictures of the engagement, not the wedding itself. Bridezilla intend to book the same venue the weekend before OP's wedding. I think I might be being dramatic, so I'm coming here for judgment. My fiancé, Josh, 28M, and I, 26F, have been together for 5 years, engaged for 3. He has a little brother, James, 24M, who has been with his girlfriend Sally for 2 years. We have a great relationship with my fiancé's brother and his girlfriend. We have been there for them during their rough patches and overall supportive of their relationship. Even though they live a 10-plus hour drive away, we stay in touch weekly and sometimes daily. We visit them at least once a year and they have still never come to visit us, but they live in a fun beach town, so we never complain about a tropical weekend trip, haha. Sent birthday gifts and Christmas gifts without getting anything in return, but my love language is gift giving, so as long as they were happy with their gifts, I was happy. They are doing great, to the point James has a ring and plans to propose soon. A little backstory: a few years back we went to visit him and stayed in this beautiful hotel and wedding venue. We both fell in love, but at the time there was no way we could afford it. Back to the main story. As you can tell, we got engaged pretty young, and at the time we didn't feel ready to get married. Honestly, I'm not big on weddings, but my fiancé wants one, so we agreed on a smaller affair to celebrate. Since we decided to wait a few years, about 5 months ago we decided to take a shot at the venue we dreamed of, and turns out we can afford it. We can afford it on our own, but both of our loving families are chipping in, so we are totally within budget and over the moon. 5 years and we are finally getting married. This entire time we have been keeping Sally and James in the loop, since it's in their hometown. Asking for advice on vendors and just overall excited chatting about it. Monday last week, we locked down a date, and just had to pay the $1,000 deposit by tomorrow. I held off to confirm the date was good with my family, since my cousin has a wedding scheduled 3 weeks after ours. We planned to pay it today after I got the blessing. Yesterday, my fiancé got a phone call from his dad asking if he spoke to James recently. His dad further explains that James, who has no proposed to his girlfriend yet, decided to book the same venue the weekend before our wedding. To say I'm upset is an understatement. We have been talking to them for months about our progress. They had never once showed interest in the location. Frankly, I could care less that it's at the same place. The weekend before is just a slap in the face. I don't think I can bring myself to forgive them, let alone attend. Am I naughty for not wanting to go to Bill's wedding? Edit. Only Bill and FSIL live in the town the venue is located in. It is a 5+ hour drive for the closest family member, everyone else is 10+ hours drive or flight away. There would be no way to attend both. Share your story in the comments, I would love to add them to a video.